The MCAT is one of the hardest exams you will ever take, but if your practice scores aren't improving, I guarantee you're making at least one of these 5 mistakes. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what they are and how to fix them, so you can start seeing your scores go up. I'm Dr. Nessim, and after coaching thousands of students through the MCAT, I can spot these mistakes from a mile away. You're putting in the hours, you feel like you're working hard, and you still can't figure out why your scores won't move. It's because you're making one or more of these 5 critical mistakes that I see premeds make over and over again. The good news is they're all fixable. So today I'm breaking down the biggest mistakes that you can make when studying for the MCAT and how to fix each one. And stick around to the end because I've got a bonus mistake that honestly might just be the most important. So let's start with mistake number 1. And this is the big one. Starting practice questions way too late. This is the mistake I see more than any other. Most students spend 2 to 3 months in what they call their content review phase. They're reading through those big review book sets, watching videos, writing notes, and they don't touch a single practice question until they're about 8 weeks out from their test date. Then they start doing 1 full-length practice test per week and think that's enough questions. Here's the problem with that. Practice questions aren't just for assessment, they are for learning. There are actual studies showing a strong correlation and fairly direct correlation between the number of practice questions you do and your MCAT score or score for major exams such as the MCAT and USMLE. But you can't get in enough questions if you only do full-length practice tests once a week right before your exam. So here's the fix. Start doing practice questions from day 1. I don't care that you haven't learned all the content yet. Do 30 to 40 UWorld questions every single day from the moment you begin studying. Then, and this is critical, spend real time reviewing them. It should take you almost as long to review the questions as it took to do them, sometimes maybe even longer. Go deep on every wrong answer. Understand the reasoning behind it, make Anki cards from questions you miss, and don't save practice questions for later. I know it's tempting to hold on to those AMC materials until you're ready, but you'll learn more by doing them earlier in your prep and having time to actually address your weak areas. You could also always go back and do them a second time or even a third time. For full-length tests specifically, use them as learning tools, not just evaluation tools. Maybe save your last 2 or 3 for pure assessment so you know if your score is where you want it to be. And then still review them thoroughly. It should take you a full 2 days to properly review an entire full-length test. Okay, mistake number 2. Passive reading instead of active learning. Let me paint you a picture. You're sitting at your desk with a big review textbook. You're highlighting every other line. Your hand is cramping from writing notes. You're on page 247 of 400. You feel productive because you've been there studying for 4 hours. But here's the truth. You're not really learning. You're just moving your eyes across pages and your hand across paper. Most students come to us doing exactly this. They do what I call the old method of studying. They laugh when I call it out in my webinars because they're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing. They're passively reading those big textbook review series, they're highlighting until their hands cramp, and they're basically just rewriting entire textbooks worth of notes. Then, we switch them to a question-based approach paired with Anki flashcards and spaced repetition, as well as a high-yield content review. After a little while, their scores start to skyrocket. It's not magic, it's just that the old method doesn't work for MCAT prep. So, if you're highlighting or rewriting notes, stop right now. Replace passive reading with active learning techniques. First, incorporate spaced repetition. Use your Anki flashcards daily. And I'll talk more about this in a second because most people using Anki are doing it wrong, which is why they don't see the results. Second, practice questions. We've covered this one in mistake number 1, but it bears repeating. Questions force you to actively retrieve and apply information. That's how you actually learn. And third, self-testing. Before you look at your notes or review materials, try to recall the information from memory first. Struggle with it. The struggle is literally where learning happens. Fourth, teaching others. Explain the concepts out loud like you're teaching it to someone. If you can't explain a concept clearly, you don't understand it well enough. I promise you, 90 minutes of active studying beats 3 hours of passive studying every single time. Okay, let's move on. Mistake number 3, not using spaced repetition properly. A lot of students have heard about Anki and spaced repetition by now, which is great. So maybe they're even utilizing this technique, but most of them are using it wrong. They make 500 flashcards in one day, or they make cards that are way too complex with entire paragraphs on them. or they make low yield cards of information that will never show up on the MCAT. My first real experience with Anki was actually in medical school. I heard about this platform that everybody uses to study for their board exams. There were Anki decks passed down from class to class, refined over the years. I didn't really know what it was about at first. And there's definitely a steep learning curve. But once I figured it out, it was honestly revolutionary for memorizing information long term. And here's what I love about Anki for my students specifically. It gives me tangible metrics. Most students say they're studying hard, but we don't actually have any concrete data except those hours they say they're studying. With Anki, I can see real statistics for my students. How many cards they're reviewing, their retention rates, whether they're keeping up with their daily reviews that they're supposed to be doing. It gives us actual numbers to work with instead of guessing. I've had students tell me they can't believe that 20 minutes of Anki sessions spread throughout the day adds up to an hour and a half of studying, which truthfully can equate to 3 hours of fake studying most students are doing. So here's how to fix your Anki approach. First, for a lot of you, you can use pre-made decks. Don't try to make every single card yourself. Use high quality pre-made decks. So we have one in the Pre-Med Consultants course that we give away for free. There's the Miles Down deck, or I heard the Jack Sparrow deck is good. And then supplement with your own cards for weak areas. Second, keep cards simple. There should be one concept per card. So really you're only filling in a short amount of information. Don't write paragraphs. Third, focus on high yield content. Make cards from information that's actually tested frequently. You can use the MCAT PowerBook to identify what's high yield so you're not wasting time on things that won't show up. And fourth, do your reviews every single day. The algorithm only works if you're consistent. Even on tired days, knock out at least some cards and at the minimum, your reviews. So again, the key is to use Anki properly. And if you're not sure how to do that, you can click the link below and I have a free training on exactly how to master Anki and set it up. Okay, moving on to mistake number 4, ignoring your practice test data. You take a full-length practice test, you see your score. If it's good, you celebrate. If it's bad, you feel terrible. Then you just move on to your next week of studying without analyzing anything. This drives me insane. Your practice tests are giving you a literal roadmap for exactly what you need to work on, and you're ignoring it. So here's the fix. After every practice test, spend 1 to 2 full days doing a deep review. Go question by question. Review every single one, even the ones you got right. Did you guess? Were you unsure? Did you mark some of them for review? Create a spreadsheet and track which content areas and question types that you're missing. Is it the amino acids, organic chemistry reaction, or is it the CARS inference questions? You need actual data. Then make Anki cards from every question you miss. Every single one should generate at least one Anki card with the concept you didn't know. You could also unsuspend cards from your pre-made deck that are related to the topic. Then focus your next study week based on that data. If your spreadsheet shows you're weak in kinetics and electrochemistry, that's what you're studying this week. Be strategic about it and track your score trends over time. Are you improving, plateauing, getting worse in a certain area? Adjust your study plan based on the data. Don't just collect practice test scores like trophies. Actually use them to get better. All right, and mistake number 5. And this is one people really don't talk about enough. Not planning for test day conditions. You can be perfectly prepared, content-wise, strategy-wise, and still underperform on test day because you didn't prepare for the actual experience of taking the MCAT. The MCAT is 6 hours and 15 minutes of testing time and 7.5 hours total when you factor in breaks and the check-in at the testing center. Most pre-meds have never taken an exam anywhere close to that length. I remember my actual MCAT test day vividly. I walked into the Chem Phys section feeling confident. It was the first section. I'm fresh, I'm ready, and by the end of it, I thought I had completely bombed it. I was so flustered that I had to go to the bathroom and splash water on my face. I literally looked at myself in the mirror and said, you've come this far, if you got one bad section, it's fine, just crush the other 3 and maybe I can still come out with a decent score. I was able to get back in the right headspace. I felt decent about the other 3 sections. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, I actually had my highest score on the Chem Phys section, the one I thought I bombed. And that's because the MCAT is curved and it's truly hard to assess how you're doing while you're in the middle of it. So here's how to prepare for test day conditions. First, take full-length tests under real test-like conditions. Same time of day as your actual MCAT, same breaks, no phone, no snacks during section, you're doing it on a simulated computer, and everything is as close to the real thing as possible. Second, practice mental reset strategies. What will you do if you feel like you bombed a section? Plan for it now. Deep breathing, a quick walk during your break. Know your reset routine before you're in that moment. Third, build stamina. Taking at least 5 to 7 full-length practice tests before test day is going to be important. By the time you sit for the real MCAT, the length shouldn't feel foreign anymore. Fourth, test your entire test day plan. Figure out what you're eating for breakfast, what you're bringing for breaks, how you're getting to the test center. Eliminate every possible source of uncertainty. And fifth, go in with the right mindset. Your job on test day isn't to figure out your score as you're testing. Your job is to execute what you're already trained for. Trust your preparation, and what I tell my students is just go in and collect that score that you deserve. Now here's the bonus I promised you. This might be actually the most impactful mistake on the entire list. Studying completely alone without support or accountability. I see it all the time. Students who are grinding in isolation, not talking to anyone about their struggles, not getting feedback on their approach, just white knuckling it through months of studying by themselves. The reality is that having someone who's been through this before, who can look at your practice test data, adjust your study plan, and tell you when you're making mistakes you can't even see, that changes everything. It's the difference between wandering through MCAT prep, hoping you're on the right track, and knowing you're on the right track. So, here's what I want you to do right now. Be honest with yourself about which of these mistakes you're making. Pick one to fix this week. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Start doing 30 to 45 practice questions daily if you're not already. Get serious about Anki and actually learn how to use it properly. And review your last practice test or practice question set using the deep analysis method I described. If you want expert guidance to make sure you're not making these mistakes, or others I didn't even cover today, then check out the MCAT PowerBook for high-yield content review. The link is in the description. And if you want personalized coaching with a full support system built around you, book a free consultation for our Ultimate Advising Program. We'll look at exactly where you are, identify what's holding you back, and build a plan to fix it. The link for that is in the description as well. The MCAT is beatable, but you just have to study smart, not only hard. If this video helped you, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next video.